What's up, you guys? Alright, you guys. So we've talked about it many times. The ban list did so much for our format. Firewall is gone, malicious is at 2, Armageddon is at 1, yada yada yada. But let's ignore all the stuff that people kind of really rejoiced about, and let's focus on the section that I don't think enough people pay attention to. The cards that came back to 3, and there is one in particular, the whole point of this video, that came back to 3. Kozmo Dark Destroyer. As someone who's played against endless Cosmos, let me say, fuck. Like, man, that, it's crazy. But the whole point of today's video is, what's the potential of Cosmos' format? And trust me, there is potential. My brother Sam actually has an updated Cosmo build. If you guys want to get an idea for how to build the deck, be sure to check that out. I'm going to talk about a lot of like the things about Cosmos, why I feel they have potential this format, why I feel that they're kind of like a sleeper deck, and things you can do to innovate the deck to add, more spark to the deck to actually help it compete against decks this format. So we're going to start with Kozmo Dark Destroyer. You guys already know, 3000 attack, can't be targeted by opponent's card's effects. It destroys a card on summon, but it destroys a monster, yeah. One monster on the field, destroys it, cannot be targeted. If it's destroyed by battle or card effect sent to the grave, you banish it, special summon a level 7 or lower. So guess what? If you get rid of Dark Destroyer, you're going right into Kozmo Forerunner, which is basically 2800. Same thing. It can be targeted by your opponent's card effects, like... You're noticing a trend here, and then if it gets destroyed, you just go down the ladder, and then you're going into Slip Rider, and that card pops a card. Now, this card can be, targeted by card effects, but that's not the point. Back to Kozmo Dark Destroyer, because the whole point of the video. So, the reason why I feel Cosmos have so much potential is if you look at the deck as a whole, ship-wise, now they have their main ace monster back. They have their Dark Destroyer back. And with Dark Destroyer back, they can do so much. The card, is just a behemoth. I remember back in the Monarch format, Monarchs were the solution to Cosmos. Stormforth Erebus was like the best thing you had because Stormforth didn't target. You just got rid of the Kozmo Dark Destroyer. It didn't float, and you Erebused another card out of their hand or on the field, and it got it off the board without them triggering their Cosmos. I feel the reason why this deck has so much potential is because Sky Strikers is the best deck of the format. And what does Sky Strikers do? They target monsters with Widow Anchor, and they can't. They can't. And I know what you guys are thinking, well, what do? You play Jamming Waves, and that card sucks. According to all Striker players. Personally, I liked it back in the day, but most Striker players, oh, that card sucks. Every time you see a deck profile, I didn't play Jamming Waves because that card sucks. I didn't play Jamming Waves because that card does nothing. You might want to play Jamming Waves, maybe in your side deck now, because it does at least handle a back row, and then it destroys a monster and doesn't target. So, but here's the thing. Cosmo's still going to float. Like, if you actually get rid of it, it just floats. It just goes down the levels. And, yeah, what are you going to do against Dark Destroyer? Like, really, what are you going to do? If you look at a Sky Striker deck, what's their out? Ding. There's no out. There's no real out that doesn't result in another monster. That's huge potential-wise, this format. Not only that, all the ships, outside of Slip Rider, what are you going to do? They're all huge. You can't really do anything against them. And that's insane. That's actually insane. When you think about it, what is Striker going to do? Then let's go to the next deck. Let's go to, say, Altergeist. Okay. What the hell are Altergeist going to do? You can't Silicoid as balance it. I don't think you'd even want to do that. If you Mullaseek send it, it can't even be targeted, so you can't do that either. What the hell are you going to do? What are you going to do? You're going to set up Kinkurian Marionetter and beat over it for 100, and then it's just going to float down. You see, that's the thing. And I feel like the only way Altergeist can play against that deck is with Protocol. So, yeah. That's the thing. What the hell are they going to do? What are they really going to do against Dark Destroyer when it floats down into the other ships? So that already takes care of 2 decks. Now let's go on to Thunder Dragons. So Thunder Dragons, I mean, they have Colossus. I guess Titan is really, one of their only ways. They can run over it. They can, You know, they just have to basically beat through every single Kozmo monster, and that's honestly a pain. Like, trust me, that's a pain having to do that. So with Kozmo Dark Destroyer back at 1, I mean back at 3, it's insane. Like, not only that, but they can successfully play Allure of Darkness. And if you guys don't know, Allure plus Cosmo Town is broken because you just banish a Dark, then you just use Cosmo Town and you just bring it back. So it's like a Pot of Greed, and we all know that Pot of Greed draws 2 cards, so that's pretty broken. Other things about the decks. I mean, I've talked about the ships. You know, I didn't want to ignore, like, the other pieces of the deck because I think people forget that sometimes. So we have talked about the 3 main ships. Oh, there's one more, and there's Cosmo Fighter, or Cosmo Dog Fighter. So people forget about this card, but Johnny won the regionals with this card. This is the card that produces a token. This is also your virus target for a full force virus, which is actually insane in the deck. And what's really cool is that being able to produce these tokens is awesome. And these tokens can actually beat down, which I think is nuts. So this card floats as well. So you see you have all these potential monsters you can float into, and I think that that's the thing, is that the ability for the deck to constantly float is insane. It has an insane grind game, plus the monsters are just huge. Like, if you look at it, the monsters are just huge. So Dogfighter, another great card, produces a token, produces, you know, the ability to play full force virus, which can just win the game. Then you have, you know, your pilots. You have Cosmo Dark Lady. You have Tin Can, of course. I'm going to talk more about Tin Can. I know Cosmo Dark Lady is a great card. I like this card a lot. I think a lot of people are going to be focusing more on Tin Can, though, because Tin Can is like your main, like, ace guy. You just want to get to the end phase. You just want to resolve Tin Can. You know, you just want to proceed with your deck. So Tin Can, extremely strong, this format. Being able to, you know, just reveal, like, you know, the Cosmos and just be like, hey, good luck. So, pretty nuts. What I like about this, too, is that you're able to... Let me see. There's one thing I actually wanted to see with different... Yeah, I was going to say, I was like, could you be cheesy and reveal, like, 3 Dark Destroyers? You can't do that. I didn't ever play Cosmos. I only played against them, so bear with me. But, yeah, Tin Can is still insane. What else is there? Farm Girl. How could I forget about Farm Girl? So, yes... Cosmo Dark Destroyer is the main reason why this video is being made, with it being back at 3, but let's not forget Farm Girl, you guys. When Farm Girl goes off, the game's over. Like, the game is over. You know, attack, 500, you know, Cosmo, banish, summon Dark Destroyer, boom, you're dead. Like, it's nuts. Not only that, there's still 1 E-Telly, so technically, if you, depending on how many Cosmo Farm Girls you play, I've seen decks play 2 or 3, so technically you have, like, I guess 4 copies, 3 copies, depending on what your ratios are, but... Yeah, Farm Girl, still a hell of a card, can still win games. And if Dark Destroyer clears the board and they swing with Farm Girl, the game's over. Like, just go to game 2. Like, the game's over. So, I think definitely as, like, the pilots go, Farm Girl's really strong. You have Straw Man, really good. Being able to special summon one of your banished Cosmo monsters, really solid. You have Sword Troopers that... you pay 1,000, target a Psychic Cosmo monster in your graveyard, special summon it, so that helps you bring back more monsters. Now, I don't know so much, like, if Cosmo will even go into their extra deck. Like, I know they have the potential to. Like, you can play Link monsters. You do have the ability to go the Infinity package because of, I believe it's because of Dogfighter, and, is Dogfighter? I think Dogfighter's a 5. And, Slip Rider mostly. It's mostly with Slip Rider that you just make the 5s, make the Infinity. That's another option you have. But really, realistically, you don't really go into the extra deck. But it's just options that you have. And then, of course, Cosmo Town just does its thing. This card is nuts. Mulligan effect, the ability to, you know, to fix your hand, the ability to, you know, recycle back your banished Cosmos. Like I said, Allure plus Cosmo Town is insane. So, I mean, why would you not play it? And then, of course, their one trap, besides Full Force Virus, their actual Cosmo track is Cosmojo. It doesn't target, really solid. You destroy your own Cosmo, and then you banish 1 card your opponent controls or in their graveyard. You need to remember that. You can also hit the graveyard because you can hit Ray in graveyard. That's broken. Like, that's actually broken. You float with the ship and you hit Ray. Like, I'm telling you, I think Strikers has the worst matchup against Cosmos. And what's projected to be the best deck in the format? Strikers. So, yeah, I don't know. I think... As a rogue pick, quote-unquote, this is a really good deck to pick up. If you've had it just kind of laying in the way, just weighing and wait, now's the time to play the deck. Now's the time to try it out, to try some spicy things out about the deck. I think it's really solid. The last thing I'll talk about, because we talked about pretty much all, like, the main, like, Cosmo cards, just had them up here just, like, to reference you guys. Like, I didn't want to bore you guys with, like, oh, this does this is, like, the super in-depth. There's no reason. You guys pretty much know what they do. They have their pilots, they have their ships, they have their potential, they have their trap, they have their spell. And then they have Full Force Virus. So what I like about Full Force Virus is you can get rid of the token, look at your opponent's hand, all monsters they control, and all cards they draw until the end of their third turn, and destroy all monsters with 1500 or less defense. Gives you the potential to just get rid of problematic cards. Just really good against like Alter Guys, good against, I guess, I don't think it's really that good against Striker. I mean, yeah, you hit Ray, but I mean, you just want to cut them off from floating Ray. But I mean, you put a Dark Destroyer, they're not going to win anyway. They would have to have like a billion spells in the grave, and then they'd still lose because you're just going to float anyways. So I think that card does have potential. I think it's good against rogue decks. I think it's good against I mean, it does hit some of the it actually does hit Thunder Dragons, because I believe it hits our Roar, it hits our Dark, it hits because I believe Roar is 0 defense, Dark is 1500 defense, and it hits Matrix, it hits a lot of cards actually. You just lose them. Now, yeah, you can set up your graveyard, and yeah, you can, you know, resolve the fusion card, but I mean, outside of that, like what are you going to do? Like, what are you going to do if you get hit with Virus? So, pretty insane. But that's pretty much my thoughts as far as, like, the potential of Cosmos. The last thing I'd like to end the video on is, if you're going to play standard Kozmo, you know, with like Allure of Darkness, Pot of Desires, you know, like all the basic cards, you have that option. But you also have one more option at your disposal. I don't know how effective this will be, but I guess there is a potential for a return of Demise Kozmo. For those of you that remember the Card of Demise version of Kozmo, where, you know, they're all like stun monsters basically, and you just demise for like a billion and you just win. Like, that was a deck that I believe Frazier and Sean McCabe played. Michael State also played that deck. Like, it was really cool. I don't know what its potential is. You guys can let me know in the comments below what you guys think of Demise Kozmo as another option. But the main point is, don't sleep on Cosmos, you guys. This deck definitely has potential. This format, it also is able to, you know, combat the best deck in the format. I think that's huge. I think that the ability that you can't target, you know, any of the ships is nuts. Its floating ability is insane. Its OTK potential is insane. You also have cards like Call of the Haunted or whatever version of Revival you want to bring back monsters. You also have Monster Reborn. You just overwhelm your opponent, you just win the game. And whenever a deck like Striker can't, you know, use Widow Anchor or any of their main cards to get over monsters, they're going to struggle. So definitely something to take into account. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to smash that like button. You know, just show me your support. Consider backing me on Patreon. Check out all the links down below. And let me know in the comments, what do you guys think of Cosmos' format? Do they have potential? And if so, what is it? What version do you feel is the best? Do you feel the standard build? Do you feel the Demise build? Do you feel an artifact build? Don't forget, you can play Cosmo artifacts too, which is nuts. So think about that. What do you guys think overall about the deck? I feel it's definitely a deck you should not sleep on. It's definitely a good rogue contender. And I feel in the hands of a really good pilot, no pun intended, that the deck can see a lot of success. But I'd like to know what you guys think in the comments below. If you also want me to do a video on the potential of ABC this format, since we got a Assault Car back to 3, let me know in the comments. I'll put a comment. You guys can just let me know if you guys want to see that. I think it's definitely another video that we could talk about the potential that the deck has. But overall, I'm stoked that Cosmos is back. A little scared, to be honest, because playing against Cosmos sucked back in the day, but I feel that with every format, you know, the deck's been gone for a while. I'd like to see what it can do. It's nice for people to dust off their old decks and bring it back, and let's see what it can do in the format, because it does have a good matchup against the best deck for the format, so that says a lot. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.